One of the great defining aspects of Vanderbilt's career is the good fortune he had to be born within eyesight of the city of New York. Now, the city of New York back then was a large town today, about 30,000 people. Yet it was already on its way to becoming the most important port in North America. Vanderbilt, by being born, in a sense, into transportation, having a father who ran a sailboat, then acquiring his own small sailboat, which ran on the waters of New York Harbor, he was involved in transportation virtually from birth. Now that's very important because transportation was the most important business in the 19th century. And when opportunities presented themselves, they almost always appeared in transportation first. And some of his genius as a businessman was seizing on those opportunities. Vanderbilt was so successful that sometimes people think he planned everything in advance. In fact, one of his great strengths was his ability to seize upon opportunities that appeared unexpectedly and make the most of them.
New York Central shares are dropping fast.
How low?
$20 a share.
Buy everything you can.
The advent of the steam engine, first on the water and then later on land, was truly a revolution. Vanderbilt not only went into steamboats from sailboats, which he'd been in, he actually mastered the new technology. He studied it. He became the designer of his own steamboats and steamships, and actually took over his first railroad in 1847, while he was still mainly a steamboat and steamship operator. Now that railroad line was the door that opened the way toward his construction of an entire railroad empire. He took these small little railroad lines that had been started before the Civil War, and he began to take them over, to merge them, to connect them, and convert them into large, almost continent-straddling companies and networks, which were more efficient and also made him far wealthier. In 1869, as the consolidation of his empire is well underway, he begins to create Grand Central Depot, that later would become Grand Central Station and ultimately Grand Central Terminal. The New York Times, I believe, said that Grand Central was neither grand nor central, and yet it was an act of foresight. He'd seen New York steadily growing north in Manhattan. He knew that it would be where the center of the city would be eventually. It was also a place where he could build what was then the largest railroad station in the Western Hemisphere and the second largest in the world. It was essentially financed by Vanderbilt himself. It was a very personal project for him, financially as well as in terms of his reputation. And he helps to set the template that these future tycoons who go on to do new and in some ways bigger things, they follow. He sets the ground that they build upon.